Lee Indianápolis. Duels are already on stage. Let's throw it back to the casters for game number 1.
All right, thank you so much, Kengus. Now, that's right. Your screen is not broken. That is what you see. I see a Cyber Dragon. I don't know about you, Joe, but I did not anticipate Cyber Dragons to be a strategy players would bring in. But if you told me it was Jermaine bringing it, I would have believed you in a heartbeat. This man has been playing Cyber Dragon since the moment I met him. And he has definitely come up to me every event asking, he's like, man, I got the Cyber Dragons. We're doing well. Let me get on that feature match stage. Well, now he's combined his Cyber Dragon strategy with the brand new world premiere theme, RB, Rebel Bots. That's right. You can with Val can, and Jermaine's trying to do that here this weekend with his brand new world premiere theme. But he's up against a deck that also got brand new cards out of Duels Advance. Tell me about his opponent's deck, Joe.
Yeah, we were talking a little bit about potentially seeing Vanquish Souls in the feature match area this weekend, and that's absolutely what we're going to see here. We're going to see the combination of the brand new Holy Suit, giving the deck the ability to play in your opponent's first turn, or just additional interactions if you're able to go first, but also the incorporation of Vanquish Soul Start, which suddenly makes Mad Love, a card that was always a pretty decent card that kind of could extend into your field, a new starter. And that's really one of the pivotal points when you're looking at a deck. How many cards can single-handedly start you along a wide array of plays that really establish that opening turn? You know, previously this deck really relied on something like Raisin and reinforcements of the army, maybe potentially a good Stake Your Soul, but when all of a sudden you get to increase the number of starters with Mad Love, with the Stake Your Souls, with Raisin, with reinforcements of the army, you kind of hit that percentage point somewhere in the 90%, but you're really hoping to see an ideal opening play, which is exactly what the Vanquish Soul strategy gets to do this weekend.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we talked about it before. It used to be when you normal summon Mad Love, you had access to Vanquish Soul Snow Devil, which is solid. It's really good trap card, not bad. But now that you get to have that middle step to get Vanquish Soul Start, which will let you add the Vanquish Soul of a different attribute than the one you have on the field, and it also just happens to set the trap card at your end phase, right? It's actually phenomenal. So you get to get that field spell and still get access to the trap card, all with one of those Mad Loves. But his opponent, Jermaine, like he is a master of Cyber Dragons. He knows the deck in and out much better than you or I will probably do. So I'm excited just to learn from Jermaine and how he's using these Cyber Dragon cards. And I want to see how the RB cards are incorporated. I mean, if you're not familiar with the RB cards, they are a brand new world premiere theme. It's a machine-based theme where you get to summon your own like giant mech monster and interchange the parts that it has that have different effects. That you can equip the parts. Well, not equip, but they're going to be pointed to. They're going to be linked to that Rebel Link monster, and they get their awesome effects that they'll be able to use to disrupt the opponent.
Yeah, when those cards are released, you know, there's not a whole ton of them. There's a couple main deck monsters, a couple extra deck monsters, a couple spells. You wonder, you know, where is this going to slot in? You know, here we have basically the master of Cyber Dragon making the decision that in a deck that's already pushing almost 50 cards, he's up to 49, that the RB cards are worth incorporating. And I'm really curious to see exactly how he's done that.
Yeah, my favorite part about the RB cards is going to be the spell card RB Stage Landing. It's not once per turn, and you can just special summon an RB monster from your deck or extra deck. But it looks like Jermaine is going to be going second, but that he's going to be the first to activate a card and start Brillia. And the Brillia is really good against Vanquish Soul, and it's going to result in just a pass here from Giovanni. Now the field's wide open for Jermaine and his Cyber Dragon deck.
Salesman
in the main deck.
I don't know what he called.
Yeah, that was we were too excited about Salesman, but maybe he called something like a Fake Failure, Nibiru. But he's going to start off with a Cyber Dragon core on normal summon. He's going to be able to add a Cyber Dragon spell or trap the hand, but Giovanni says no.
Okay, so it wasn't Ash Blossom. That's not a band.
He didn't Salesman. Yeah, let's go take him up to talk about Salesman. It's very similar to Prohibition, if you're familiar with that old school card, but you get to declare a card name, and for the rest of the turn for your opponent, they can't use it, but you can't use it yourself for the rest of the game.
Absolutely. Ooh, polymerization.
Polymerization, removing the fusion summon, Cyber Eleton and Cyber Dragon core for presumably a Cyber Dragon fusion monster. Like I said, this is not a deck that we're super familiar with. Oh no, this is not the Cyber Dragon Fusion monster. I think this is, that's a tough one to say. Oh, do you want to take a stab at that name?
Can I just call it the Mechanical Dog?
Yeah, the Mechanical Dog. Let me pull it up real fast. Let's see, so when this card is fusion summoned, during the standby phase of the next turn, you can add a card from your graveyard to your hand. But when your opponent activates a spell or trap card, you can banish a face of Light Machine monster, or 2 Light Machine monsters negate the activation. If you control 2. Interesting, really cool card. Like I said, we're gonna see some things that we haven't seen before from Jermaine, and he's always playing like kind of off-the-wall strategies in his Cyber Dragon deck, but he loves Cyber Dragons.
I know, when we were told that Jermaine was playing Cyber Dragons, you know, there's, no pun intended, a core of Cyber Dragon cards that you look at that you often see. He's really going through just a myriad of different Cyber Dragon card effects, both in the main deck and his extra deck, so.
Yeah, unfortunately, no RB cards here from Jermaine. It would have been really easy to get a lot of damage out there fast with the RB cards, but doesn't have access to them just yet. And then during the end phase, Giovanni's going to activate Bestial Magnet, banishing that Cyber Dragon core. Does have effect in the graveyard, even though not able to use it just yet because Jermaine didn't have, or Giovanni didn't have any monsters, but now the end phase, Bestial Magnet is going to add a Bestial monster from the deck or graveyard to the hand. Or any dragon, but we'd assume it's going to be Bestial here.
Yeah, I think he's deciding between Jerusalem and Baldrake. Now that's one of the things that we're going to see in Vanquish Souls. The Bestials line up fairly well into the format. I think that's pretty evident.
Yeah,
this deck wants Dark Monsters. How many Bestials is the right number? 2, 3. I mean, I've seen players elect to play, you know, 3 or 4 different in their deck.
Definitely. I'm always a big fan of like 1 Magnet, 1 Jerusalem, 1 Baldrake, just to have that different targets for your Magnet. But you can definitely go beyond that with how good those cards can line up against some of the strategies in the current format. So during the standby phase, he's going to add back that polymerization thanks to the Mechanical Dawn.
I'm not sure there are actually any Vanquish Soul cards besides that looks like the field spell in his hand, which means he might be playing the old Bestial Beatdown.
I was going to say, Bestial Beatdown sounds good to me, and that is on the menu. He's going to banish the Cyber Eleton out of Jermaine's graveyard.
I'll special him in the Baldrake.
Yes. Especially in the sense that he is playing against a strategy that has Light and Dark monsters, Light especially. So if there are any decks that you're hoping to play against when you're stuck on Bestial Beatdown, it is a strategy in which you can inherently just special summon them from your hand without having to worry about putting darks or lights in your own graveyard.
Definitely. And now it looks like Giovanni's going to move to put his bestial monsters in the graveyard for a link summon of Nightmare Cerebus.
This is actually a really important card in the Vanquish Soul extra deck. It might not necessarily seem like it. It's a link monster that's been around for a while, but this deck may struggle otherwise with Babushka. So having a link 2 monster that can help Babushka reliably is really important.
All right, so we've gone from bestial beatdown to Nightmare beatdown. And Cerebus is going to be able to attack directly after clearing out the monster out of the way. He discarded a copy of Fantastical Dragon Phantasme in the main deck. Maybe Giovanni's wanting to hedge his bets against Malice here this weekend by including a card like that.
Yeah, it's also just another monster that has just the proper attribute, right? There's an attribute that you really rely on in the Vanquish Soul strategy.
You really can like tech out your Vanquish Soul deck in different ways based on the attributes that you need. That's an important point.
Hand interactions like Ghost Spell is another. I'm not sure if he's playing that in his main deck, but you know that's right. It's just another one of those attributes that fulfills something that's not the case with the Mulcharmies. You know, it's one of the downsides of playing the Mulcharmies is potentially if you go first and you have a Mulcharmy hand, it might not line up attribute-wise. It's just not going to.
Definitely. But Jermaine's still not drawing any RB cards out of his deck. He needs the RB stage landing, but isn't able to find it. So plays pass back to Giovanni, who finally drew into a Vanquish Soul monster. And even though we talked about how he doesn't have to get the trap card anymore, he already has a copy of that brand new field spell Vanquish Soul start in the hand. So he does in fact just go for the Snow Devil because probably not anything else to add from his deck otherwise.
No, he does. He's not playing the Dust Devil, so he's only playing those 2. So this is a brand new field spell, as you commented on earlier. It in and of itself is not a starter. However, if you do have another Vanquish Soul monster on the field, it can serve as a starter. And then in addition to that, you can set the trap card Snow Devil during the end phase. He's not going to be able to do that because he just searches it out. But sort of in the most ideal scenario where you're just naturally drawing Mad Love, resolving Mad Love by searching out Soul Start. You can then use Soul Start to get plays going and also set that Snow Devil during the end phase.
Yep, and we see he is getting started here. Game on. Going to target his Mad Love so he can add a Vanquish Soul with a different attribute.
Absolutely.
Maybe he goes... So downside, you can't add Heavy Borger. Heavy Borger is also a Dark, which is usually the ideal one you want to have alongside one singular Vanquish Soul monster, but he will get Vanquish Soul Rosin, which is still usable if you can find a way to spell some from his hand. The Nightmare Cerebus is kind of like being in that extra monster zones, holding him back a little bit from being able to go into Rock of the Vanquisher.
Yeah, I'm curious what type of Link 3 monsters he might have, or just other Link 2s he may have in his deck.
Yes.
You know, the Cerebus is one of those where it's okay, this is my out to Babushka. It's like, okay, well, it's on the field. What's next?
Yeah, it occupies its own, but it does look like Jermaine has a copy of Mulcharmy Fuwalos, and that's going to be sent to the graveyard. So for the rest of the turn, if Giovanni decides to summon from his deck or extra deck, Jermaine will be drawing a card. Moving on to his next move, he already has the Heavy Borger in hand, so he's going to return the Dr. Madlove to the hand. Heavy Borger is going to come down. Let's see if he's going to use the Reveal a Dark Effect to draw a card.
Yeah, well, we know he has the Mad Love, so it makes sense to do so.
Make sure the deck is shuffled before he draws a fresh card to the hand. Heavy Borger is really the first card that sold me on Vanquish Soul. When I first read that card, I was like, okay, there's something here. If you're able to summon a monster from your hand that just lets you draw a free card, it also has like the burn damage you can do on the backside, which adds up really quickly on doing on your turn, your opponent's turn, your turn again. And now he's getting that damage across, and getting any damage, as I mentioned, a Heavy Borger can finish off games quickly.
I mean, it basically has 3,000 life points over the course of that 2-turn rotation if it stays on the field. Plus, we're seeing some Vanquish Soul players incorporate a Nash Knight package that actually utilizes some of the Masquerade, the Umbrella Horror Masquerade out of the extra deck to be able to deal damage that way as well. So sometimes you just very swiftly can lose 8,000 damage when you combine multiple Heavy Borger activations with Masquerade from the extra deck and then Soul Snow Devil also dealing damage as well.
Certainly, that's up really quickly. But yeah, we really see like this Nightmare Cerebus is kind of putting the Giovanni in a tough position because he really needs to be able to summon that Rock of the Vanquisher to continue his plays to get the Rosin out of his hand onto the field.
That's correct. This game. I will proceed to end phase. Pass turn.
All right, so just with the trap set, Heavy Borger on the field. He could dig through his deck to try and find some interruptions, or he could start trying to whittle away at Jermaine's life points. He only has 2,300 left, it looks like, so a couple activations from Heavy Borger could really seal the deal.
One interesting thing is that Vanquish Soul Snow Devil, if you were able to reveal all 3 attributes, technically destroys all monsters on the field. Now, typically when we think about that card, we see it and we think, okay, it's only going to destroy my opponent's monsters. Well, that's because it has a built-in effect of protecting your Vanquish Souls from being destroyed. It would actually destroy that Nightmare Cerebus.
Ooh, that's interesting, but we do see a Sales Ban. I don't know what he called, but then it's going to be followed up by Cyber Emergency, so he's at least going to be able to access the Cyber Dragon portion of his deck. Still no RB stage landing quite just yet. But Jermaine is definitely in an emergency, so he's going to be able to add a Cyber Dragon card from the deck to the hand.
And there are a lot of them that he can add.
There are a lot of them.
I can't even begin to put into words how many he has in his deck.
He also plays like the Cyber Dark cards. It looks like he's looking at Cyber Dark Jormungandr.
May I read the card? Absolutely.
Yep.
May I read that card?
And including this card, you have 2 in hand.
Correct.
Yes.
Giovanni giving a read of this. This is what we were commenting on earlier. There is a ton of different Cyber Dragon cards, and this is one that you may not have as much familiarity with.
So if you special or equip, it locks you into machine monsters.
Anything on
Yep, Cyber Jormungandr. It's out of Alliance Insight.
Nothing on resolution.
So it does look like it resolves and it's able to add to the hand. It's a monster that can do a lot. It's going to be able to come from the hand to the field or equip itself to a Cyber Dragon. Let's see what he decides to do with it.
The special summon and then special or equip.
Correct.
In chain, I will activate Holy Sue.
Oh, here we see the first activation of Holy Sue.
Yep, Holy Sue is going to be able to reveal a monster hand to be special summoned from the hand as a quick effect. So it looks like he's choosing to equip a Cyber Dragon card to the Jormungandr. Or is he going to equip the Jormungandr to the Cyber Dragon? He's just going to summon it, not use it as a good card. Makes a lot of sense.
Anything in the open game state?
In open game
So one of the
state,
things just about Vanquish Souls in general, and this is the case certainly when you're playing into this, trying to keep track of what attributes that you know your opponent has. We saw both that Raisin and Mad Love either be searched or returned back to the hand over the course of the last turn. So we knew this Holisu had the ability to reveal an Earth and a Dark, sorry, a Fire and a Dark Raisin, and Mad Love to special summon a non-psychic, meaning basically anything but itself, from the deck. And now he's able to put the copy of Raisin on the field, which now allows him to search Caesar.
And more importantly, lining up. But smart stuff here. You can see Jermaine knows the Vanquish Soul strategy a little well because he summoned that Cyber Dragon underneath that Nightmare Cerebus. So he's at least putting Giovanni in a position where he's going to destroy his own card. But to his own advantage, because he doesn't want that Nightmare Cerebus there anyway.
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting quirk here that Cerebus may have been interfering with his own plays. But yeah, that is very insightful, Billy. If you're playing against this strategy, you definitely want to be wary that Raisin gets to destroy within the column. But that's why you want to summon basically underneath the extra monster zone that the Rock the Vanquisher would typically be located. Obviously here we have Nightmare Cerebus. That is something that's very insightful. The zones do in fact matter against Vanquish Souls. But that's enough there, I think, for Jermaine to pack it up there in the first game.
Yeah,
Giovanni takes the first.
Yeah, Jermaine really needed to stick 2 monsters on the field there to be able to get going, but it was just too late. Neither player really drew the opening hand they were like looking for. Nothing ideal. I mean, definitely unfortunate for Jermaine to have a couple of Milcharmies, but Giovanni not really having any way to get going from the beginning was tough. And what it really came down to also was that Ash Blossom from Giovanni on that Cyber Dragon core really slowed Jermaine down a lot.
The other thing is Salesman is fantastic if the rest of your turn goes well.
Right.
Because then you don't really mind inherently playing a card that doesn't replace itself. But if you get stymied along the way, that's one less card, one less resource that you would have either had as an extender or an interruption. And as we saw in those games, having multiple copies of Salesman really reduced his card economy. In many ways, what people would refer to as just the amount of cards that he has access to. So when that next card, that Cyber Emergency, was stopped by Ash Blossom, he just simply didn't have enough resources beyond that to continue.
Definitely, yeah, it's tough. I mean, when you're playing with so many cards in your deck, it's harder to draw. Like, sometimes you're not going to see those key cards that you need to have access to. Like, if you just drew one copy, like force out that Ash Blossom, and then was able to use the one copy of like RV Stage Landing to just literally let you summon a Link 3 monster from your extra deck straight up into your extra monster zone, it would be really, really good. But he just didn't have access to that other portion of his deck. Only having the Cyber Dragon cards, Giovanni's Vanquish Soul monsters were easily able to take care of that. But yeah, hopefully in game 2 we get to see some of the RV cards because that's where this deck really shines. They're really cool. I just like the idea of having your own like mecha robot out there fighting, and you're like interchanging the parts and utilizing those parts to either destroy cards on the field, negate a spell or trap effect.
Look at that necklace.
Oh, he has a Cyber Dragon chain on. I didn't realize that was another. We talked. There's a lot of Cyber Dragon. He has a Cyber Dragon chain right there around the neck. I mean, I told you if there is a dedicated Cyber Dragon duelist out there, it is Jermaine. He's about to be event after event. You know, I'm doing good. I'm make day 2. You know, he's trying to get in there, and now he started off 2-0 at this tournament. Tough game 1, but he's not out of it just yet. I mean, for Giovanni, you know, he has maybe a little worry. He's playing against a probably an unexpected strategy going into this event. You definitely, in your preparation, you want to play against all the top decks, the things you think you're going to see. But then when you encounter something brand new, like the RB strategy alongside Cyber Dragons, it could throw you off.
I mean, he dodged that Perulia in the first game. You know, that's the absolute worst card for you to see, Perulia.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, often for a lot of decks it's Fualos, but this is a deck that realistically only needs a special summon from the extra deck one time, and that's in order to go into Rock of the Vanquisher. If you are Perulia, though, it really shuts down so much of that first turn ability. So the fact that he was able to survive a game where he had basically no starters, was Perulia, passed to a deck that's in many ways probably an unknown to him. There's, you know, probably,
It could just be over.
It could just be over, and that's just a recipe
Yeah.
for how you would lose at this particular game.
Yeah, I wish we knew what he called a Salesman. Had he like Salesman, Ash Blossom, and Joy Spring, maybe that turn would have ended out to be a little differently.
I feel like the cards, and this again, we didn't exactly hear, but the cards that I could imagine him calling are Nibiru and Droll and Lockbird.
Maybe even Infinite Impermanence, but
That card's not even being played in every deck
yeah,
right
that's
now.
true. That's true.
I feel like Droll is, and Nibiru really isn't even being played, at least as a 3-of, as I commented on earlier this weekend. Sometimes it's just that 1-of in order to be searched off Granite, and you're not going to sales ban a 1-of.
Certainly not, but now the duels have shuffled up side deck, and it's time to see if Jermaine will be going first or if he's going to let his opponent go first here in game number 2, round 3 of the NAWCQ.
Another just important thing to note is when you play against Vanquish Souls, you should use that as information for potentially some of the cards they may choose to side, because that deck needs to leverage just those 3 attributes in order for it to function as well as it would like, which means cards like, you know, DD Crow, Nibiru, they don't line up well into just what that deck is inherently trying to do, so you might not anticipate those cards being in the deck.
Okay, so I heard it this time. I make sure to listen to Droll and
Droll and
Lockbird.
Lockbird,
So
okay.
that's probably what he called on the previous game as well. He's going for the high impact disruptions from the hand. And now he's going to discard the Cyber Dark Chimera. Is it the Cyber Dark Claw? I think that's Claw, but it's able to add a Cyber Dark card from the deck to the hand. Very good Cyber Dark.
That is indeed Claw. I don't think he has Droll and Lockbird in his hand, though. Looks like there might be maybe a Phantasma in there.
All right, he's going to add Cyber Dark Realm from the deck to the hand.
Looks like there is a Holisu in his hand, though, which he can summon on this turn if he has the proper attributes to go along with it. That Earth and Dark to take control of the monster, maybe potentially that Fire or Dark initially.
Yep, so the Cyber Dark Realm is going to continue his plays to be able to access another Cyber Dark monster with a different name from the one in his graveyard. And it also gives him an extra normal summon for Cyber Dark monsters.
What language is it?
It's Italian.
Italian?
Yeah.
Mind if I look at the card? Yeah.
So he's getting the translation for the card, I think, but when he found out it's Italian, Giovanni might be able to read a little bit of Italian. You might know a little bit about that, G. Orlando.
Yeah, just a little bit. Not fluent, don't even pretend, but...
But it looks like he's at least going to attempt to read it in Italian. I've done the same thing with French cards where like, oh, I can read it. But I'm like, maybe I should just read the English one just in case.
Maybe a lot of viewers at home can relate to this, but let's just say I picked up on some very particular Italian words growing up into those large family gatherings. For holidays.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And then if you equip, you're going to equip from the opponent's okay. So it's Cyber Dark from the opponent's regular.
Anything for resolution?
No, you're good.
So he does ask for resolution on summon, though. Of course, as we know, Droll and Lockbird has been banned for this particular turn.
All right, let's see what Cyber Dark he's going to go for. Maybe Cyber Dark Worm could be the case here. Looks like it's Cyber Dark Chimera, though.
Additional normal summon of the Cyber Dark monster.
Yes.
So he's going to use his extra normal summon here on Cyberdark Chimera. Cyberdark Chimera can discard a spell trap to add a power bond from your deck to your hand.
Which we know is included in this Cyberdark deck, so, or the Cyber Dragon, Cyberdark variant.
This is an activated.
And for the rest of the turn, he'll be able to fusion summon using monsters from his graveyard and be able to banish it, kind of similar to the Lunalight Masquerade.
Once I get the translation, I'll have a potential response. Yeah.
Looks like all of his cards might be in Italian.
I like his style.
Sorry, thanks to things like Yugioh Neuron, it's really easy to look up cards and read their text.
And I wish I had that when I was a much more active player.
Smartphones changed everything. I remember dueling with pre-smartphone, yeah. But it looks like this is going to finally prompt the response, and we're going to see Vanquish Soul Holly Sue be activated, reveal another Vanquish Soul monster, special summon it from the hand.
So this is a relatively low percentage thing that can happen, but it is something you need to be aware of. For this to happen, you're going to need your opponent to have a Holly Sue, so have it naturally drawn it. For this to be an interaction, they either already need an Earth and Dark monster, which again, it's a deck filled with Earth and Dark monsters, or alternatively have a Fire and Dark monster so that they can summon the Raisin, which we see here, which can usually then add the Earth monster that you need because you would have already needed a Dark monster in order to summon it in the first place.
There is an Earth monster he's adding it, just as you said.
So now he's going to, in this open game state, reveal an Earth and a Dark monster and take control of the Chimera.
And it even puts, he's using the Rosin effect to destroy the column. But it even puts the Caesar Valleys in the hand to also be summoned for another disruption on Jermaine's first turn.
Yeah.
Jermaine and Giovanni, they both have very similar names, so I'm trying to like stay focused on them, not say their names together.
Don't throw my last name into that sentence.
It's almost like a G Orlando, J Orlando.
Yeah.
Close. But here's the Cyberdark Worm. So now that the Chimera went to the graveyard, it lets him add a Cyberdark of a different name as well. So we're getting the Cyberdark flow will continue. Cyberdark Worm, kind of similar to a Mathmech Circular, where you're able to special summon from your hand by sending something to the graveyard. Well, just send it to the graveyard, it looks like. But then you get to add a card back from your graveyard.
Mathmech Circular is a fan favorite.
Yeah, especially that kind of effect has become like notorious with a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh cards for a lot of different themes.
We had that conversation yesterday about like the original one gets to just be like Stratos now. That term, that name is now just used throughout all of Yu-Gi-Oh history. Circular will be one of those as well.
So you can summon from the graveyard, it looks like. So he's going to be able to send the Cyber Dragon core to the graveyard to special summon it back.
His effect only 1%, correct?
It's only 1%, yes.
And then he can add a Cyber Spell Trap from his graveyard to his hand if he has one in there, but I don't think he's put one in there just yet.
This is insightful also. No, he just verified that Raisin is only a once per turn effect, so he elected just to put it into that column. You know, he doesn't know if there's maybe other effects. I know there's a Spell and Trap Destruction effect too that also matters for the column. So, but it is just important to note that you're going to put a monster in their column to double check that it's only once per turn.
Yep, and now since he has a continuous spell on the field, he's going to leak summon for Clockwork Knight to try and use its effect there, and that's going to be met by Fantastical Dragon Phantasme, and that's going to let him draw some cards.
I will draw 2, shuffle 1 back.
But Jermaine will still be able to use the Clockwork Knight effect to add a card from his deck to the hand. That's going to be not the same Clockwork Knight, but the spell card Clockwork Knight.
You see him actually thinking about putting back the there can only be one.
Okay, so I'll resolve.
Really good card in Vanquish Soul, since all the different attributes for sure. Phantasme let Giovanni dig a little deeper into the deck. We still haven't seen an RB stage landing. I'm hoping it's just waiting in the weights in the hand.
On the resolution?
Yes.
You have anything?
Nothing.
I will use Caesar Valleys. I will target the Holy Suit.
It might not look like it, but I just want to remind the viewers that this is Jermaine's first turn.
Vanquish Soul can play a lot if you draw the right combination of cards on your opponent's first turn, especially with Holly Sue straight out of Duelist Advance.
It should also be noted that imagine how many cards you would have drawn if Jermaine had opened. Not that this is necessarily the best thing to do, but with Perulia.
Yeah, definitely. The Perulia would have saved him here in this game.
Which is not something you usually say go first. Yeah, not something you normally say.
But you might as well use it. Use it or lose it pretty much when it comes to that into your hand once you establish a field. And now he's going to activate the Clockwork Knight, so all monsters are going to become machine monsters on the field.
Just attack?
Attack and defense.
And defense? Yes, that's fine.
Nothing resolution?
Yes.
Let's see where he goes next.
Caesar Valleys?
He just needs to get a couple monsters on the field too to be able to maybe link summon for the Link 2 for RB.
Or reveal
You can contact for Chimera Tech too. If he has a Cyber Dragon.
That could be something that Jermaine's looking to do.
What's the public knowledge that I know is in your hand so far?
I revealed for Holy Sue and Raisin Fire Dart. I revealed Mad Love, Raisin, Holy Sue.
Okay.
Just the kind of courtesy of double checking what cards have been revealed for the Vanquish Soul cards.
I will.
He still has his normal summon. He only uses extra normal summon for, so now he's going to use his normal summon on Droll Lockbird. He did Sales Band Droll Lockbird, so he won't be able to use that for the remainder of the duel. But you can still normal summon it.
Yeah, you're not activating any effects.
2 cards in hand, correct?
That is kind of where Prohibition and Sales Band differ from each other.
That is fine.
It is kind of funny to see that though. You Sales Band roll with it in your hand.
Shout out to Drollbird. It came in a couple times.
Clockwork Knight. Tribute for cost to target.
Kind of reminds me of like Christian Urena. I think he put Drollbird on his deck list last year for the points playoff instead of Droll and Lockbird. So I've seen Drollbird before. I played these games before, and now Ghost Bell is going to stop it. Called by the Grave for Ghost Bell.
The 1 out of 49.
That is fine.
So
one thing to note just about Vanquish Souls in general, if they're low on resources, every hand interaction they use, that's one of those 3 key attributes, Fire, Dark, and Earth, can actually stymie their future plays. So that's just something to note if you're ever playing against this strategy, that every time they were to use something like Ghost Spell, you should register like, okay, that's one less Earth monster they could potentially have in their hand.
All right, revealing the 3 different attributes to go after Cyber Dragon Core here with Caesar Valleys and send it right back to the graveyard from which it came.
Thinking.
It's like Jermaine is slowly running out of resources somehow on his first turn. I'm just so amazed. This is really just a perfect testament to some of the high upside that the Vanquish Soul strategy has. You know, if you're one of those players that likes the idea of having hand interactions that are in-engine, in addition to just the natural hand interactions like Bystials and Ghost Spell and Ash Blossom, this might really be the strategy for you, because think about just how much Giovanni's been able to accomplish here on essentially his turn 0. And he hasn't even had his first draw phase yet.
It's our turn, not just your turn right now, but Jermaine, just sets it. I mean, this is heads up by Giovanni, not letting Jermaine stick a Cyber Dragon card or ever getting 2 machine monsters on the field to really progress his plays, and that's just going to stop Jermaine. He wasn't able to draw any RB cards. Like, the RB cards kind of, like, help the fact, like, when they're able to take your monster off the field, you can activate something like RB Stage Landing, just to special summon an RB monster like that for free, but unfortunately not. So he's going to take out the spell and trap card there, and now he's going into the main phase. He's going to use Raisin to reveal the Fire and Dark to destroy the Clockwork Knight.
This is
Jermaine's RB Cyber Dragon strategy might be about to be vanquished here after his life meter is depleted down to 0. Holly Sue is going to activate the effect, and it's looking like Vanquish Soul's moments away from being able to take this. But this is only going to be Jermaine's first loss, so he will be able to move on after this.
And we heard earlier that he has made day 2 before, I presume, with Cyber Dragon. So
oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah, his tournament's not over yet.
Yes.
18 from Ryzen.
All your monsters lose 500 attack and defense.
13.
All right, so maybe it's not enough with the minus 500. It's still a lot of damage. I'm going to let them do the math.
There's also Heavy Borger on the field, so
yeah, so
he only needs 5,000.
Yeah, it's for sure all she wrote.
24.
Next
19.
What's interesting, Heavy Borger actually requires that you return a non-machine. It didn't matter in this game, but all of his monsters would be machines, right? With Clockwork on the field.
Oh,
it's just an
yeah.
interaction that could have happened in this particular duel.
Because he just summoned it from his deck here with Holly Sue, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And then Burger Effect, Reveal Fire, Earth.
Yep, Burger Effect to burn for the last amount of damage. And the fighting game strategy, Vanquish Soul is going to take down Jermaine in his RB Cyber Dragon strategy. You see the quick fist bump in there, his friends cheering him on in the crowd. And Giovanni will be moving on 3-0 with Vanquish Soul here at the NAWCQ. But yeah, we got to see a little bit more of Jermaine's deck there in game at number 2. But having the salesman in the main